Hello everybody, I hope you're all right. So this week we're going to do some art journaling. Now I'm using all of the things that I make from nature to do this, so I won't be using any plastic pens or any acrylic pens or anything like that, all natural inks and leaves and things like that just to journal with, just to show that you can do it and you don't always need loads and loads and loads of bought environmentally friendly badly art supplies to art journal. You can use whatever's around you, whatever you've got in your home, recycle paper or old envelopes that you just store, old scrap papers that you just put together into your own journal. And it works absolutely fine. It's an art journal. So who's going to know? Let's get on. So I have no plan for this. I'm just going to do whatever. So I have some Aldacone ink here, and I found this leaf the other day and just stuck it in the book with a weight so that it protected it. And I'm just going to trace around it with my ink. I'm going to keep this leaf as well. I'm going to preserve it in the journal. I have leaves that I preserved last year, which I'll show you in a bit. I think I did, I showed you briefly when I did my, here we go. So we can do what we like with this leaf now. I'm just going to copy the veins from the actual leaf. Veins always look slightly different when you see them in real life than how you remember them when you're just trying to draw them. I'm drawing a leaf today because it's autumn and I've got the autumn feels, even though today is quite a warm day. It's helpful to draw leaf veins like this from the natural leaf, and then if you are trying to remember what leaves look like, if you're doing an artwork at some future date, it won't look so uniform when everybody just does this. So now I'm going to add in some of my blackberry ink that I made the other day. If you saw the little reel that I did. Now this blackberry ink will start off looking red, pinky colour like this, and then it will go into like a purple. So this is my art journal. I'm not trying to put everything perfect. I'm just doing an impression of leaves and how I'm just going to mix it with that alder ink. These leaves are all kind of spotty and blotchy, which I love. Give it a little I got some little leaves. I'm going to do a little print. I just literally just picked these up from the car park in the studio. And I'm going to do really simple leaf prints with these. This one's great actually, this leaf. When you're art journaling, there's no way to do it. You do it exactly as you wish. Lots of people use collage and everything in their art journals. You can do that. You can do exactly as you wish. I'm going to use some older ink now, just to give some splatters. And I might, let's add a branch. This is older ink that has just got a little bit of gum arabic in it. It's slightly lighter than this older ink because this one has some iron added to it. Simple, just rusty water, and that just helps it go a little bit darker. Didn't go as dark as I was expecting it to, actually, but it's good to experiment with these things because you never know until you try them what's going to happen. So it's good to practice and do some journaling with the inks and things that you make, because then you can see how they fade and how they change colour if they're going to, and how they work as well. So you can see there are two different tones of ink, and you can see already that the blackberry ink is starting to change. Now it very much depends on what the paper is made of and what bleaches or acids or anything like that are in the paper. I recently did some work on this piece of music sheet, and you can see that here and here the blackberry ink has already started to change into the darker blue black, but here and here it hasn't done, it stayed pink. And it's the same sheet of paper, so I really don't know what's going on there, but it's interesting to note the changes. I did this a few days ago and it hasn't changed since then, and it's been left out in the light, so that's good to know. So I'm going to add now a little bit of, and I'm using different brushes because I forgot to bring some water. I've literally just arrived at the studio, got my coffee, and just sat down and making this video because nobody else is in at the minute. Now this is my charcoal ink, so I'm going to see, this one I did some work with a while ago. On another reel, which is still up if you want to see. It's not very black, it's kind of grey, but I did like how it pulled. I'm using a nice big fluffy brush here just to get some different texture. I'm going to add some little splash dots on that leaf just to see what happens. Autumn always feels magical to me. Let's add some stars. It's quite interesting to see how the inks work over each other and with each other. I like that little pooling effect there. Now I'm going to leave that here because it's all got to dry. But when you're art journaling, you can do all kinds of things. I'll show you this one that I did last year. These are last year's autumn leaves, and you can see they've still got their colour. And what I did with this one was press the leaves first of all. So you put them into your art journal and then put some books on the top so they get flat and pressed. And then I just stitched some leaf shapes in as a hair there. This was on botanical printed paper. This was my oak gall ink and some white limestone paint. And the oak gall ink, these are leaf shapes in the background that are imprinted into the paper from the eco printing. See previous videos if you want to have a go at eco printing. And then I just held these leaves in with some stitches. I think some glue as well, although that one's not glued there, so it might literally just have been stitches and then pressing the paper on that's holding these leaves in place. Yeah, they're not glued in, just stitched. And you can see how they feel, because this was last autumn and they're still fine. So I'm going to put that back in there. And this was, where is it? Another one that I did last year. Again, these were these leaves I did glue in. Some wallpaper paste or Pritt stick I might even have used. And I had some old music paper. And I made a tree out of some music paper to stick it onto the leaves. So I'm still using collage, sketching, collage. But my art journal's very natural based, which is how I like it. Because we want the trees and the autumn to stay looking beautiful, don't we? So take care and I'll see you again soon.